And David says that he's just promising that he's going to continue to love her. I think she got that message from the first one, definitely the second one. I don't think that we need a third. Hi guys, welcome back to Jasmine's Watch Party. My name is Jasmine, and today we are diving into episodes 1 and 2 of season 4 of The Ultimatum on Netflix. So we have a whole cast of characters to meet, but before we do, if you're also watching The Ultimatum, or if you just want to follow along, go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let's get right on into it. So first up, let's meet all of our people, because Lord have mercy, it took me so much work to figure out who was who. First up, we have Jessica Grace and Idris. They have been dating for 2 years. Jessica Grace is 35, Idris is 38, and she said that she wants marriage before kids because her dad is having health issues and she would like for him to be around for those moments, which I fully understand. I would want my dad there too. However, let's not rush into a relationship with a guy who may not really want to be with us forever just so that our dad is a part of that. And let's also not rush and bring kids into that situation if this guy is not the person that we need to be with forever. You know what I mean? We also have Casey and David, who have been dating for 5 years. Casey is 34, David is 33, and David has given her 3 promise rings. Which at this point, what are we promising, David? Like, Casey even said that the only reason she hasn't gotten a 4th one is because she told him to stop buying her promise rings. And David says that he's just promising that he's going to continue to love her. I think she got that message from the first one, definitely the second one. I don't think that we need a third. We go on to Monica and Luke, who've been dating for 4.5 years. Monica is 28, Luke is 30, and they met when they were 14, connected during COVID, and he feels like he would die without her. I hope that's an exaggeration, but Luke actually gave her the ultimatum. And Monica said that she just wants to get her career and finances in line before marriage because she's high maintenance and she wants a lot out of life. I understand that completely. Like, I really do completely understand being like, I just want to get my career right. I want to get my finances right. But you can also do that while you're married. You can do that while you're engaged. You know what I mean? Like, is that really the real reason that's holding you up from being like, I would be okay moving forward with you? And if that is the real reason, how much time do you need? And I hope that that's a conversation that they've actually already had. We go into Hayley and Blake, who've been dating 1.5 years. Hayley is 23, Blake is 26, and Blake gave Hayley the ultimatum. He said that this feels like the next logical step for him because he wants family and kids, and he's also checked off items off of his personal bucket list. But where does Hayley stand? Like, has she done the things that she wants to do before she wants to get engaged? I don't know. Also, it's only been 1.5 years. Like, Blake, slow your roll. It's been 1.5 years. We are not at the stage of like, hey, you either need to marry me or we're splitting up. Which Hayley said that he's not meeting her emotional needs. Even though they're having conversations about it, he's not changing anything and he's not meeting those needs. Ashley and Killian have been dating for 4 years. Ashley is 26, Killian is 29, and she was raised that you marry and have kids right out of high school. They met 14 years ago through competitive cheerleading, and he actually asked her dad for her hand in marriage, got the approval, and then some type of family altercation happened, in which case the approval was rescinded, and he is now questioning everything about even if he wants to be with her forever. So they have a lot of stuff they need to work through. I would also love to know a bit more about this altercation. We have Alex and Jebin, who've been dating for 6 years. Alex is 23, Jebin is 23. Dating for 6 years means they started dating at 17, which is really young. So I don't think that there's a need to like rush into that, but whatever. Also, we don't know a single thing about them. The show literally shows their faces, shows their name for 0.2 seconds and their ages, and then it moves on. They're providing the rings this season. I kind of wish they would have waited until like closer to decision day before giving out rings, but whatever. Idris in his confessional says that he loves Jessica Grace as much as he possibly could. But Ashley, she's got assets and a bosom. And that to me is just so disgusting. Who says that? Bosom? I haven't heard that word in forever. But also, you give me creep. You really do give me creep. We go into their final nights together. We start with David and Casey. He lets her try on the engagement ring alongside all of her promise rings that he has given her. Which, at this point, that's just kind of like embarrassing. I don't know. Like, why are you making her do that? You know, like, are you wanting her to stack it up with all 3 so that she can be like, oh, look how wonderful this looks. If anything, it points out that she has 3 promise rings. And she's actually wearing all 3. He said that he's scared that she's going to leave, so he doesn't want to commit. He has a real fear about that because he comes from a broken home, which he's seen his parents get divorced. I think he said 3 or 4 times, each of them. And he still has hopes of a happy marriage. Casey asked him, do you for sure see yourself getting married? Like, are you sure you want marriage? And David says, yes, I 100% want marriage. And what I noticed about that response to her is that he didn't say that he wants marriage with her. And I am of the belief that we do not place ourselves in somebody's future if they are not placing us there themselves. So for him to say, I 100% see marriage in my future, he is not saying I 100% see marriage with you in my future. And I think that that's an important distinction. And I hope that Casey does not get so excited by that answer and that she starts to believe, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. It may happen for him and it may not be with you. And like, in my opinion, marriage is a huge leap of faith. Like, there is always the possibility that somebody could leave, but you're trusting the other person to work through the issues and make the marriage work. And I think that if David really does want to be married to Casey, then he needs to get over that and trust what they have and what they've built and believe her when she says that she's not just going to leave him. We visit with Alex and Jebin. This is where we start to learn about Jebin. Okay. And his parents would be pissed if he proposed to her. He said they would be like, undo it. You need to undo it. We come to find out they don't approve of her because she's not Indian. They want him with an Indian woman. And the disapproval is so strong, she has not been allowed to go to any family events because they do not approve of her. And then he makes a comment about he's 50-50 on accepting her. And I'm just like, this relationship makes no sense to me. Because how are you 50-50 on accepting her? You've been with her for 6 years. Your family has never approved of her over this entire 6 years. And actually, at this point, Alex, I don't know why you're still with him. Why are you tolerating this? Like, for me, it's one thing if your family doesn't approve of who you're with. It can still work if you would have zero care in the world about what your family thinks. If you are going to choose your partner despite what your family thinks, even at the risk of losing your family, then their opinion has no weight. It does not matter if they approve or not. In Jebin's case, where he does really care what his family thinks, they are close-knit, he still lives at home, that's not gonna work. Like, if he doesn't have the backbone to stand up to them and be like, hey, this is my girlfriend, my future wife, you need to come to accept her whether you like it or not, which he obviously does not have that backbone, then this is not going to work. Alex is wasting her time. Jebin is just existing. Truly, he's just existing. He's very childish. She asks him something about having kids, and he says that they need to live a healthier lifestyle before they have children. And then she's eating fries while they're having this conversation. And he points out that her eating fries is a prime example of them needing to have a healthier lifestyle. Sir, there is nothing wrong with eating fries while you have kids. Like, that does not dictate anything. I'm very curious about what his upbringing was, that he does feel like that is like a point of contention. Jessica, Grace, and Idris are having this very, very vague conversation. It is annoyingly vague about how she has crossed a boundary for him 6 times. To which I say, if somebody has crossed the boundary of yours 6 times, number one, you don't respect yourself enough to go ahead and cut that relationship off. Number two, they don't respect you enough to, operate within your boundaries. And 3, your boundary must not mean anything. It sounds like it's just something that you're saying, but it doesn't mean anything. And if it doesn't mean anything, then it's not really a boundary. And I also want to know what this boundary is, because it's something about her talking to other guys and working out with a guy. But Jessica Grace says that she gave that guy, or gives guys, the same energy that she would give somebody in Costco. And if that's true, then what is the boundary? Like, for Idris, is it just that you don't want her to talk to guys in general? Because if that's the case, we need to work on some things. But I need more context here. I hate these super vague conversations. If we're going to have the conversation, let's have the conversation. Let the people in. Like, I know you're on TV and you're trying to be like, oh, I don't want to put my business out there. You're on TV. You chose to be here. Okay? Like, you chose this. So if you're going to choose it, then be transparent. The next morning, we're having breakfast with Hayley and Blake. And Blake says that he is not emotional because he is goal oriented. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can be goal oriented and you can still be in tune with your emotions. You can still show emotions and show that you care while still being goal oriented. I am goal oriented, but I am still a person who shows my emotions. Like, Blake, that doesn't make sense. You can be both. Hayley says that she would pay money to actually see Blake be emotional. And I think that's just sad. He then compares her to a car, for what that's worth, and says that, let's say you're a Porsche 911, right? But what if I want to try driving a Ferrari and a Lamborghini? What is this conversation? That was all I could think hearing it. I was like, what is this conversation? So she asked him, are you going to get physical during your trial marriage? And he says, yeah, and starts laughing. And Hayley chuckled because I think she wanted to believe it was a joke. So then he was like, I'm just joking. But if it naturally progresses, then absolutely, I have to explore it. Like, just say yes and own the yes. Please, just say yes and own it. There's no need for this, like, dodginess that you're trying to do. We go to the pool party for them to mingle. And let me just go ahead and say, we're going to, like, speed run this part because this part of the episode was a nightmare to follow. I think I watched the pool party scene probably 4 or 5 times. It was so, like, cut up and chaotic and everybody was everywhere. And I was like, we are not having a conversation longer than 2 minutes with any of these people. I don't know who was who yet. Like, let me stick with somebody so I can learn something about them and make a correlation so I can learn who these people are. We learned right off the gate that Idris is super sweaty. Every shot of him is him dabbing his face with the bandana. He's just sweating up a storm. However, his conversations are completely dry. He gives nothing. Nothing. So he just is telling Hayley, like, we're talking about their backgrounds or something. And he learns that Hayley is part Hispanic. And he was like, what? I never would have guessed. And she was like, what did you think I was? He said white. And she was like, well, my mom is Hispanic. My dad is white. I kid you. I wish I was joking. I kid you not. He looks at her and says, I bet your mom makes good food. What? That's what you're going to say? That's really, really? That's what you're going to say? And as I was sitting there appalled, Hayley in her confessional is like, I can't believe he just said that. And she walked away, as she should. You should absolutely walk away from somebody saying something like that to you. She goes over to David and tells him that that was terrible. She needs another margarita. We learn that David has been playing basketball overseas for 8 years. It's really giving Chris from Love Island season 7, if you know. But they bond over things like being Hispanic, being given the ultimatum, and coming from broken homes. And Hayley reveals that she feels like Blake tries to buy her love instead of just opening up and giving her the emotional connection that she is looking for. And we learn that David has abandonment issues. Hayley then goes to Killian. We learn that he is from France. And this is where we start to get the background about Killian and Ashley. Ashley used to work for her dad, and they moved so that she could work for her dad. She decided that she didn't want to do that anymore and that she wanted to move back. So when they did that, her family blamed Killian, thinking that it was him who was leading the charge on that. If that is the full truth, if, a very strong if, that is the full truth, why has she not cleared this up with her family? To say, hey guys, like, that's not actually what happened here. Why would she not clear that up? I just don't understand why you would let him take the heat for a decision that you made, especially to the point where your dad rescinded his blessing for you guys to get married. It just makes no sense. Blake and Ashley are having a conversation. They're both from Texas, and they both issued the ultimatum. They talked about what they want in a partner, whatever. They got along well. Alex and Killian are talking. She calls him a Ken doll. And when she said that, I said, absolutely, yes. He looks exactly like the Ken dolls I had when I was a baby. Not a baby, a child. But she then reveals that Jebin, his family doesn't accept her. She can't go to family events. And she says that the reason they don't accept her is because they are a family that believes in traditional jobs, like a doctor, a lawyer, and she is a hairdresser. And I'm like, is it more than one reason that they don't accept you? Because Jebin was talking like it was just the fact that she was not Indian. So I'm not sure. But speaking of Jebin, we get a nice little montage of him talking to various women. And it needed to be a montage. I don't think I could have taken a single complete conversation with him and the women. He reveals that he lives at home with his mom still. His mom does absolutely everything for him. And he said that he wants to cook more during this trial marriage because he doesn't cook at home. His mom cooks everything for him, so he doesn't know how to cook. He then says this very disgusting story about how he discovered he was lactose intolerant.
You gotta be kidding me.
And I just don't understand why that was necessary. I also don't understand why they didn't leave that on like the editing floor. That did not need to make the final cut. It could have stayed out. Blake and Monica are talking. Blake says that he believes your 20s are for you to grind. I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think that your 20s are meant for you to explore. I think they're meant for you to have fun, make mistakes, and discover who you are, what's important to you, what do you want out of life. I do not think that you need to spend your 20s grinding away at a career, trying to set yourself up for the future. You're not even guaranteed to see 30. There's no need to grind through your 20s honestly, let's just say it, when you're still going to be working when you're 30. What difference is it really going to make? Maybe you'll be up like one management level in your job. Kudos to you. But now when you look back on your 20s, are you going to have like fun stories to tell about when you were 20? When you were 25, you didn't have that many responsibilities, so you could kind of do whatever you wanted to with your money. You didn't have that many, like, you could do whatever. I used to travel all the time. I would book flights on a whim, literally text my parents and be like, hey, are you free this day, this time to come pick me up from the airport and then take me to the airport? And I would just be booking flights on a whim because I was in my 20s. I could. I don't think you need to grind. They're bonding over how they're both type A. But then he says something that made me not wave the red flag. But I definitely picked it up because he asked her, you're type A. Are you willing to be challenged? Didn't you just say you were also type A? What are you trying to challenge here? And like, why are you trying to challenge her? There is a way that you can like challenge someone in a way that's going to help them to grow as an individual, as a person. But the way that he was talking, I don't think that's the kind of time he was on. But again, you said that you were also type A. So were you just saying stuff so that you guys could have stuff in common? Or what's going on there, Blake? What's going on? Monica and David are chatting. They feel like 28 is a big year. Okay. They're having a very mature conversation though about his needs and like the way that he doesn't really open up. And he says that he doesn't feel like his needs are met when he opens up. So he just doesn't. I thought it was a very nice, mature conversation. I really liked them together. I think they're my favorite pick so far. We go into the cocktail party that night. We have Jebin and a little montage. He says that during this experience, he is going to mainly spend his time sleeping and cooking in his trial marriage. He wants a wife to be his new mom and do everything for him. And to that, I say, Alex, you need to run far and run fast. Run far, run fast. You do not need to be with this dude. You're in for a miserable time. He has so much growing up to do. Jessica, Grace, and Killian are talking. Jessica Grace said this feels like one big test for her because of the trust issues that she has in her relationship. Killian then reveals that he has cheated on Ashley in his past, and so now the way they're working through it is that Ashley has his phone password. For whatever reason, this conversation is the one that makes Jessica feel like she needs to give Idris some grace. I don't know. I don't know. Blake is shooting his shot with Monica. Ashley and Monica are his top picks. Killian is talking to Alex. They're bonding over their dogs, and Alex asks Killian if he wants to do the trial marriage together. It's been less than 24 hours. Why would you ask that already? Speaking of why would you ask that, or why would you say that, Jebin and Alex are talking. Jebin says that this is a vacation, which Alex was not pleased by that revelation of his. But then she reveals that she's falling for someone. It's been less than 24 hours. Like, how are you falling for someone? It's been less than 24 hours. David and Hayley are bonding over both having big hearts. Ashley and Blake are bonding over working for their families and also how they both get injections like Botox and dye sport or something. She also reveals that she will put BCAAs in a wine glass when she doesn't want to have wine, but she still wants to have fun. I did Google what a BCAA is. I've never heard that. It was like blockchain amino acids. Apparently, it's like good for your muscle recovery. I don't understand why that is a fun alternative to wine, but maybe somebody can explain it to me. If you know, drop it in the comments. I'm so here to learn. I tried Googling that question of like, why would somebody drink this instead of wine? Something about hydration, something about it's a good alternative to wine because it doesn't mess up your fitness progress. I don't know. I am not a gym girly. It makes no sense to me. I would rather just have the glass of wine and call it a day. David and Hayley. Hayley is upset that her ex Blake did not give her a hug when they all walked in to the cocktail party because all the other exes hugged each other. She will not let it go. She will not let it go. To the point that David's like, all right, I'm going to get Blake. And he gets up and sends Blake over because David's like, I'm not going to keep listening to this. Like, I'm just not. And very quickly, Hayley's like whole temper, demeanor, all of it just switches. And to that, I did make a note and I said, this seems like a red flag and screams toxic relationship. Because anybody whose temper switches that fast when the other person is not provoking them, that's not okay. It's not okay. He keeps apologizing to her and she's just smirking and says that she's mad that she's sitting here watching him flirt with other people while she's upset. She says that she believes that if he's not jealous, then he doesn't love her. That's not true. You can love someone without being a jealous person. You can. And then she says, I hate whenever you make me feel this way. We need to break that down, Hayley. We need to break that down. Because let's not forego the accountability we have to take for our own reactions, our own emotions. People can influence how you feel. But at the end of the day, how you feel is up to you. Like, people can do you wrong and you just let it roll off your back. That is a choice. You choosing to be so fired up because he didn't hug you, that is a choice on your part. You cannot say that he is making you feel this way. You can say that you feel this way because of X, Y, and Z, but you cannot say that he's making you feel this way. At the end of the day, that's something that's within your control. And also your reaction, your response to how you feel, how you carry that, that is also well within your control. That does not fall on Blake. That was episode 1 of this season of season 4 of The Ultimatum, and I am so looking forward to the rest of the season. I have only watched the first 2 episodes so far because I was truly planning on putting episode 1 and 2 into this one video, but I talk a lot. And when I saw how long this video was already going to be based on how long I've been recording, I said, oh, okay, we're gonna have to split it up this time. But let me know if you want 2 episodes per video, or if you're just thinking that you like having 1 episode per video. Let me know your opinions on that. and on the people who are on this season, what you think of them so far without spoiling it for me, because I have only watched episode 1 and 2 as to not create a bias for myself. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for a new Married at First Sight video, potentially a new Ultimatum video for episode 2, if I can get it done in time. And I will see you guys then. I'm so looking forward to it. Bye.